All right, let's take a look at a nice modern high-performance single-engine aircraft. This is the Textron Beechcraft G36. We're sitting here in lovely Hartford, Connecticut. This airport is kind of neat because I've actually flown and landed here a few times, and not on this particular plane because these are just way, way too expensive to even think about renting. There's really a lot of airplane here. So let's go ahead and take a look. So first things first, the G36, again, this is a Beechcraft Bonanza. It's a 6-seater aircraft. They've done a really, really nice job with the interior here. Again, you've got the nice G1000 set up. Everything's been kind of modernized. The materials have all been cleaned up. This is just a very, very overall nice aircraft. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get rolling here. Full power, I expect to get a pretty hefty amount of torque. And like I expected, it's kind of jumping me right off the runway there. There we go. Now, the last time I experienced one of these in a flight simulator was actually the A36, and that was over an X-plane. So it's kind of neat to see the comparison between these two aircraft. Let's go ahead and give ourselves a little tiny tug here. Oh, those are heavy controls. That's nice. Threw off the landing gear. Nice. And we're looking solid. Flaps up. And I'm going to double check to make sure the gear came up as well. I'm pretty confident they did. Yes, they did. Let's go ahead and reduce my RPM a little bit. I don't need to be going nearly this hard. About 2,500 will be more than enough. And we'll go ahead and take ourselves our nice little turn here. Just like the real thing, you really got to stand on that rudder when you take a turn here. All right, swinging around to Hartford proper here. Well, we can see a pretty good amount of, little environment nearby. There's always like some people cruising around in that lake. I don't see anybody today. I guess it doesn't get warm enough, but that happens sometimes. Hartford proper is basically straight ahead. Go ahead and cancel out that little bit of a turn there. Okay, that's looking pretty good. All right, let's get ourselves a little tiny bit of altitude, and then we'll kind of follow the Connecticut River here. So this aircraft, again, like I said, this is a very high-performance single-engine aircraft. You have an absolutely gigantic motor hanging off the front of this thing. Last I checked, I think it was a Continental 550. It's around 300 horsepower. You can get about a 710 nautical mile range or so out of this aircraft, which is a lot for a little 6-seater like this. And again, it's not going to take you very long to get there because your airspeed is so darn high. Let's go ahead and level this sucker back off. I'll get to about 1,000 feet or so. It's not quite what Hartford looks like, but they have the right idea. I mean, the buildings are in the right spot, but obviously they're not going to go too crazy. And again, an AI basically generates what these all look like on the fly, which is still really, really impressive. That's actually a power plant in the real world. We see all those cars parked and everything like that. So that's actually pretty neat. Neat little representation there. Let's go ahead and push the nose over. There we go. Ooh, there must be a lot of streaming in this zone. All right, bring ourselves gently over in this direction. Fortunately, the frame rate on my synthetic vision's pretty darn good. Straighten this back out again. Needs a little bit more downward trim here. All right, that's feeling, that's decent. That's decent. Just a little tiny bit more. There we go. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Whoa, there's something about this area that this does not like. It might be the screen, it might be the ground, I don't know. If you look out the window itself, what is that? Not going to touch anything for a sec. Interesting. Okay, that's interesting. Get back inside. And it's stabilizing. Okay, normally we test out the airplane, but that was just getting irritating. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay, I recognize that island. I love the fact the water is actually transparent, so if you have a little coastline like this, you can actually catch the inside. There's a Bissell Bridge right down there. Okay, very, very nice. I actually know people who work down there, and that's actually pretty wild. Take a look over this side. You have the Manchester Mall pretty much straight ahead. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. Let's put this aircraft through its paces real quick. Again, this is a really expensive airplane, so I feel really, really bad doing anything kind of mean to it. But hey, we're here to goof around a little bit, so we might as well try, right? Notice we get an ink ding ding to tell us our landing gear are not down. There's not a lot of retracting landing gear aircraft in this game. I kind of wonder about that. Let's do a cross-controlled stall, see what happens. And not too bad. Pull the nose up just a little bit. Oh yeah, it's grumpy at me. It's grumpy. There's the Farmington River outlet right there. Oh yeah, it's mad. It's mad. It's like when you leave your lights on in your car. Full power. Whoa, there's the spin. That was excellent. Excellent. Yeah, that's exactly what I'd expect from an aircraft that has 500 horsepower in it. I wouldn't expect anything less in that regard. So that's actually pretty darn impressive. Let's go ahead and spin this thing around real quickly. Do myself a nice little steep turn. Again, just trying to feel it out a little bit. It does not like that. All right, not too bad. Not too bad at all. This is pretty solid. This would be definitely a really good instrument plane. It is more than fast enough to do instrument work at the same time as, because it's such a fast plane, it's not going to take a month to get anywhere. Got a little button that I can go ahead and stick my head up real quick so I can kind of look ahead of me. Makes it a little easier to see the city. Yeah, I think it was definitely something with the city that was slowing things down. That's such a cool trick. I can kind of pop up real quick to take a look. I like that feature. That's kind of neat. Throw the flaps back up. Go double check to make sure my engine's not overheating or anything miserable like that. And we're in pretty good shape. We're definitely in pretty good shape here. Give it a little wiggle back and forth, kind of get a feel for it. Yeah, not bad. Now this aircraft, because its wingspan is as short as it is, again, trust me, that's short, would actually have the ability to basically, you can almost do something like this with it, but I'm not going to. Hear that wind noise? That's a not happy airplane. But again, it works really well. Interestingly enough, if you come cruising along here, there's actually a handy-dandy little cricket field for those of you guys who are into that sport. I just think it's kind of neat that something like that would be pretty much in the middle of this little city here. Again, the city's so short. It's so sad. Oh, well. So hopefully this one's kind of helpful. I'm not going to go too crazy with this plane. Like I said, it's kind of expensive. But, I will go for that quick little landing over at the end there. Now, line ourselves up. Oop, stick my head up just a little tiny bit higher. All right, let's see. Can I land the expensive aircraft? Let's find out. Believe it or not, there used to be another airport called Rancholier, which is directly straight ahead off my nose here. It actually was a nicer airport because it had a longer runway. There's a big football stadium there now, and I don't really see it from where I'm sitting, but that's not a big deal. All right, there's the airport right on my right. Going to go ahead and swing ourselves around and start getting ready for landing here. All right, landing gear come down first. Go ahead and increase my RPM up to maximum. First notch of flaps. Looks good, looks good. Slowing us down just a teeny tiny bit here. All right, pretty good. This thing does not want to slow down. Let's bring in that next notch of flaps. We can see Route 84 is looking pretty busy today. All right, swing ourselves to the right just a teeny tiny bit. It's sort of fun to watch that propeller just kind of deal with the RPM changes. It's kind of mesmerizing. All right, we are a little low, and we are definitely slow. Normally in this aircraft, you're going to want to be doing about 80 or so. We were basically on the edge of a stall here more than we were anything. Looking pretty good, looking pretty good. Wonder how the auto land works on this thing. I always like the classic squawk. The auto land was really rough. The aircraft doesn't have auto land. Oh. Always entertaining. All right, line ourselves up. Normally when you're landing here in the real world, you'd probably be using the other runway, only on account of the fact that this one's a bit short. Or not a bit short, I should say. It usually doesn't face the wind correctly. That is an interesting take on Route 91, I gotta admit. Doesn't look as busy as it usually does. But everything's where it should be. There's the turnoff. That's not even an exit anymore. Good touch. I should be paying attention to what I'm doing here. All right, bring us down nice and low. Reduce the power just a tiny bit. That's looking pretty good so far. Actually, oh my gosh, I cannot see from down here. There's got to be like a middle position. Hey, there we go. All right, looks like our approach speed's pretty good. Good old runway 20 here, until, of course, magnetic deviation makes that 20 into a 21. Looking pretty good, looking pretty good. All right, nose up. I should just kill the power and just sort of ride it for a second here. Yep, that's a Beechcraft. It suddenly just gets heavy at the last second. And we are down. Awesome. Let that nose down nice and gently. And that should conclude it for this video. Hopefully you guys found this interesting. This is pretty cool. I don't know, between this one and the Diamond is going to be probably the one I spend the most time flying initially. Enjoy.